أعزائي المشاهدين، مرحبا بكم في حلقة جديدة من العائلة والمجتمع. حلقتنا اليوم تختص في موضوع مهم وخطير جدا. سنسمع عن استخدام الانترنت من قبل الأطفال. نتمنى أن تعجبكم الحلقة وتستفادون كثيرا منها. اليوم المقابلة راح تكون مع أكيد مستر واتكنز، اللي هو عبارة عن نائب المحامي من وحدة حماية الأسرة في مكتب المدعي العام. So, Mr. Watkins, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
This is a very important subject, and people, they want to learn a lot from you. Thank you so much. If you can tell us a little bit about your job and how long you've been there.
Sure. I work as a deputy district attorney for the county of San Diego. I've been with the county now for 13 years. I'm in my now third year working for our Family Protection Division. Our division handles primarily crimes involving domestic violence, elder abuse, child abuse, but we handle other topics as well, including the one we're talking about today. And so for the past couple of years, one of my specialties has been working with our internet crimes against children cases, which deal with child pornography, deal with online predators, topics about keeping children safe, which is part of what brings me here with you today.
Sure. Well, thank you so much. What we're going to do, we're going to ask the questions in English, but then I'm going to have to translate to the Orient because they need to understand all the things that is going to go happen here. So, Mr. Watkins طبعا هو يشتغل في مثل ما قلنا هو حماية الأسرة في مكتب المدعي العام. الحلو إنه هو ما دا يشتغل اليوم ومبارحة، بس صار له 13 سنة دا يشتغل في نفس طبعا في عدة مكاتب من في مكتب المدعي العام، بس أكيد صار له تقريبا 3 سنوات. طبعا السنين اللي اشتغلها هو اشتغل في عدة أماكن، مو بس مكان واحد. مثلا اشتغل في حماية الأسرة، حماية المرأة، حماية الأطفال، بس أكثر شيء هو هسه مختص بحماية الانترنت، وخاصة الجرائم الأطفال اللي يستغلوهم عن طريق الانترنت. فشكرا جزيلا لوجوده، وإن شاء الله نقوم بالأسئلة وهواية راح تستفادون منها. فإذا عندكم ورقة وقلم أكيد أريدكم من هسه تحضرون نفسكم، وخاصة راح نحط الأرقام إذا صار عندكم هالشكل مشاكل وين تخابرون وشو راح تخابرون، وأكيد المنتج راح يحط الأرقام على السكرين حتى تشوفوها. أول أشياء اللي راح نسأله طبعا هو شنو هي الأشياء اللي تحدث بالإنترنت وشلون تصير وشلون نقدر نتحاشاها، ومن هم الأطفال اللي يتعرضون لهالخطر هذا. So the first thing that we would like to ask you, how did the internet put the kids at risk? What is going on? I mean, internet is supposed to be a very important tool that people is very useful. People, they can connect around the world. Why are we using it for something that we want to hurt the children? So I hope you can explain a little bit, because maybe people, they'll be surprised and, shocked about, really, is that happening?
Right. And of course, the internet's an amazing tool,
yes,
but it's still one that's very new to us. And as it's grown, it's sometimes grown faster than we're necessarily prepared for.
Right.
And for every good thing that it brings us, there's usually some dark side or hidden side out there that we need to be aware of.
Yes.
And specifically when it comes to kids. I was in the generation that grew up that didn't initially have the internet, and then suddenly we did and got to grow up with it. But for the kids today, it's always been there. It's something they've grown up with, something that they are usually very, very adept with, often much more so than their parents. And so we can end up with this disconnect where children are doing things now online that their parents, their teachers, people at school don't even understand.
Right.
And so part of the issues that we're running into is making sure that the parents and so on understand what it is exactly that their children are experiencing online and how to deal with the issues that might rise there. So, for example, now social networking has obviously exploded. Almost everybody has a Facebook account, and now that Facebook has been somewhat trending down, a lot of the kids are looking for other types of social media that their parents might not even know about. So when we,
especially the refugees' parents.
Right.
And if they're not familiar with these apps, it'll be very difficult for them to understand.
Extremely.
Yeah, maybe
And-
Facebook, because everybody has Facebook, but then, other stuff probably could be difficult to
Right.
understand.
And as the parents move on to Facebook,
Right.
sometimes it
Right.
kind of prompts the kids to look for something else.
For something else that is not familiar to the parents.
Right.
So I'm going to give an opportunity so I can translate what he said. So أكيد إحنا نقول يعني طبعا مستر واتكنز يشرح يقول إنه الإنترنت هو صح جديد على كليتنا بس بالحقيقة هو أكثر جديد على الأهالي لأن الأطفال ولدوا وهم يعرفون الإنترنت لأنه تعرفون هذا هو الزمن مالتهم بس الأهالي راح يكون أصعب عليهم فالمشكلة راح تصير إنه إيش قد ما إحنا نتعلم الإنترنت ونحاول نمشي ونعرف هواية مثلا أماكن ممكن نروح عليها بس الأطفال يعرفون أكثر من عندنا ويتعلموها أسرع من عندنا ومن يروحون عليها ممكن إحنا الأهالي مدى نعرف وين هم دا يروحون وش دا يباوعون وش دا يشوفون فلذلك نشوف إنه الاستغلال راح يصير هم طبعا لأنه ولدوا والإنترنت موجود فهم راح يصيرون أذكى من ناحية الإنترنت من البقية فإيش راح يعرفون هواية أشياء بها راح نشوف إن هم إذا الأهالي تعلموا على خلينا نجيب مثلا على الفيسبوك إذا تعلموا على الفيسبوك نشوف هم ينتقلون إلى أماكن أخرى بالإنترنت ويتفرجون عليها حتى الأهالي ما يعرفون هم إيش يسوون. So you're very right because I've had a lot of patients, a lot of people, they come to our office and they ask and they said, our kids, I said, so how do the kids use their free time? And they said, they're on their phone 24/7. So that lack of communication with the parents is lost. And then we see that they would fall into the cyber bullying, and it's very difficult. So when we say cyberbullying, parents, they don't understand really, what is it? How can we avoid it? So if you can elaborate a little bit about that.
Right, and so cyberbullying is just taking the bullying that we all sort of may remember from our youth.
Yes.
And now it's exploding online, where it becomes even bigger or more nefarious than it was before. And school officials, government officials hadn't even really began to spend a lot of time talking about regular bullying until the last 20 years and making it a priority.
Yes.
And nowadays, kids having access to phones, being able to record things that happen, being able to post things online, you're no longer talking about a situation where, say, a rumor or a bad incident gets spread around a community in the school.
Right.
Now it can be posted for the entire world to see.
It.
And so this can be, especially devastating for the victims, and because so much of it again is happening online, sometimes it's a blind spot for parents or school officials not even seeing what's going on.
Correct. So the regular bullying, it's different than the cyberbullying.
Right.
So it's easier now to detect the regular bullying, but how about the cyberbullying?
Right.
Is it
so
happening, like behind the walls? I mean, what is going on behind those little electronic pieces?
Right, and so it's one thing to be able to see the fighting that may be going on, or kids intimidating or psychologically kind of tormenting one another in person. But now we have situations where, for example, kids may go online and create an entire website or social media page devoted to hating on another particular student. They may just go on to post, mean comments about them. Sometimes the ones who are good with Photoshop can alter photos to make people look, put them in embarrassing situations. Now you can move rumors or gossip around text or online much faster than it used to move around. We've even had situations where students make a profile in the name of somebody else who they are picking on and then pretending to be that person, saying things they wouldn't normally say, things along those lines that, again, we need to do a better job of paying attention to and need to educate parents to be more on the lookout for and how to handle these situations when they arise.
Well, hopefully you will explain more how to handle it and where to go about it, especially if they feel their hand is so tied. But let me explain a little bit to the audience.
Sure.
So they يقول إنه أنا سألته قلت له إنه بما إنه الإنترنت صار كلش يعني بحياتنا بكل دقيقة من حياتنا أكو هواي هواية مشاكل عن طريق الرسائل الإلكترونية، عن طريق طبعا كل هالاستعمال الإلكتروني. فشون نقدر نتحاشاهم وشنو هي هاي الأشياء اللي تحدث. أكيد دا يشرح، دا يقول إنه إحنا من يكون أكو مشاكسة بالمدرسة. هسه صار كل سهل يكتشفون المشاكسة. خلينا نفرض هاي المشاكسة كانت كلامية أو فعلية أو جسدية. مثلا طالب راد يشاكس طالب آخر، شو يسوي؟ طبعا أكيد يا أما يضربه، يا أما يدفعه، يا أما يحاول يحكي عليه، يفشر عليه. بينما هاي سهلة، شو يسوون؟ ياخذون التليفون مالتهم ويصورون الشخص حتى يعرفون إنه هذا يشاكسهم. بينما من دا يجي بالنسبة للمشاكل الإلكترونية، من تصير مشاكسة إلكترونية عن طريق مثلا تكست مسج، أو طريق تكست مسج هي الرسالة الخطية، أو عن طريق مثلا الفيديو. دا يقول إنه أكو طلاب ماخذين فيديوهات ومحتلين شخصية الشخص، وشي يسوون أشياء مو زينة بالفيديو ويدزوها على أساس إنه هم يعني هذا البريء هو دا مسويها. يعني خلينا نفرض فالطالب هو بريء، كل شيء ما مسوي، مجرد قاعد ويا أحد، ياخذون هاي الصورة يسوون أشياء. شي يسموها فوتوشوب، يعني يغيروها للصورة ويدزوها كأنه هو صاير مجرم. فهاي الأشياء طبعا تصير كل يوم، والأهالي يصير إيديهم مشدودة، ما يعرفون شي يسوون أو شلون يتحاشوها. فأكيد رح نحتاج مساعدته حتى يقول لنا شو رح نقدر نتحاشاها. So that's why it's going to take us the impact. You explained a little bit about how the cyberbullying is happening, how people, they are pretending other people and then putting all these pictures. How big of impact on the teenagers, especially teenagers these days.
Right.
So how what is the teenagers feeling after something's happened to them this way?
Right. And this is a vulnerable crowd to begin with. They're at an age where these sorts of things can be especially devastating to them.
Correct.
And so, issues with, self-esteem, with anxiety, depression, becoming withdrawn at this kind of point in their lives are the types of things you might start to see. Obviously, we get concerned about suicide risk in certain situations because there have been famous examples where those sorts of things have happened. So it's obviously a serious situation we need to be on the lookout for.
Of course, yeah. So you're really feeling that the impact it's very strong, or it's likely,
hard. Right, and it's likely greater than it was, because like I was saying before, it would be one thing if, when we were younger, maybe a few students, maybe a classroom full of kids might know about a situation, but now it can be spread across the entire globe, potentially. Somebody makes, something that makes fun of somebody, if it catches viral status, it could spread.
So that person feels, okay, the whole entire world know about my problems, or, things that they've done, taken a selfie or a picture, and it really kind of Photoshop it into different things that really affect their not only self-esteem but their anxiety. They might fall into huge anxiety, and the parents, they don't know what's going on.
Right.
So أكيد قلنا إنه من الأول كنا من واحد يصير أكو مشاكسة. المشاكسة شو تكون؟ يعني بالأول كانت الصف، إذا واحد يشاكس واحد يدافع واحد يحكي، المشاكس يعني يحاولون إنه يحددوه ويقصرون من المشاكسة مالته. بس بالإنترنت من يسوون المشاكسة راح يصير صعبة. ليش؟ لأنه من يعرضون هاي الصور، من يعرضون هاي الكلمات خلينا نفرض بالانستغرام او بالفيسبوك او بغير اماكن، العالم كلها راح تشوفها، فمعروضه للعالم كلها. فهو دا يقول انه تاثير على الشباب كلش قوي، لانه الشاب راح يصير اولا حياته صعبه، راح يصير عنده حالات قلق، راح يصير عنده حالات حتى انهيار، لأنه يعني حس أنه العالم كله شافوا المشاكل مالته. فنشوفهم أنه يتغير، يعني هواية أشخاص تتغير حياتهم من وراء المشاكسة هاي عن طريق الإنترنت. فأريدكم تفتهمون، يعني خاصة الأهالي، أريدكم تعرفون إيش دا يصير. حاولوا تحكون ويا ولدكم، حاولوا تفهموهم أنه إذا صارت عندهم هيك مشكلة مو بس تعتبوهم، بينما تفهموا ليش صارت هاي المشكلة وشلون صارت وشلون نقدر نتحاشاها. Good. So, of course, when this, when it affected the child, it doesn't only affect the student or that class or that child, but affects the whole entire family or even the school or, the community also. So it has that big effect on the community as well. Perfect, okay. So now we're going to have to do, what should we do? Where are we? I mean, how is your office helping the parents and finding, some help to the parents if they running into those kind of problems? And especially now you're talking to a refugees community, which the parents, they kind of already, they're disconnecting with their children, because when they arrive, the children, they learn the internet really quick, and they learn all these apps really quick, hundreds and thousands of these apps, and then the parents, they're stuck or still on the Facebook, and they don't understand what these kids they going through, and suddenly they see here's a huge problem going on. Where should they go, and how can your office help?
Right, and so it depends under the circumstances, right? And of course, it's always tough if you are a parent finding yourself in one of these situations, because it's not something that can be easily fixed. It's not something that's going to go away overnight, that sort of thing. But there are concrete steps that people can take, right? And depending on the circumstances.
Sure.
So in the immediate term, if somebody is communicating or cyberbullying over a specific venue, text, Facebook, or what have you, certainly we'd encourage them to block the offender right off the bat. Make sure that their child is disengaging if they're communicating back with that person.
Sure.
Because sometimes the person is actually communicating back and unknowingly making the situation worse.
So we want them completely to block and just stop, going back and forth or, responding.
At least stop the bleeding.
Stop,
right.
Yes, exactly. That's
and so
a good one.
At least try to cut off the communication right there to begin with. If the communication's coming over a certain phone number or an email, you may be able to change those so the person may not have easy access. If they are going through a website like Facebook or another one, they have policies in place that are supposed to curb these sorts of things. It's helpful to report that kind of policy violation to the website. Some of them are actually very vigilant about policing these sorts of things, so they may take steps. It's important to report these things to the schools. Even if it's not something that's happening at schools. The schools have now wind of this situation as something they all take seriously, that they all have policies about now, where they may be able to take steps, even if it's not occurring on the campus or during school time hours, making sure that they are aware of the situation, because there's steps they may be able to take.
That's a middle school and a high school. How about college? Should they go and report it to the college as well?
Them as well. They'll have policies in place just as well. And then in terms of our office, apart from just educational outreach, there may be situations where what's going on rises to the level of a crime that may go to the police and may ultimately involve our office being involved. There are recent statutes that have been put in place. Generally speaking, in those situations, we're talking about areas where the harassment is such that the victim is being put in reasonable fear for their safety or the safety of their family. So we're talking about fairly extreme levels of bullying or threats in those situations. The police may be involved. In those situations, we certainly advise people to make sure to save copies of any of those sorts of communications so that those are available for investigation.
Well, thank you so much. There's a lot to say and we're going to explain it. So they يقول إذا صارت هيك حالة أو حالات إنه تشوفون أولادكم تعرضوا، أو مو بس أولاد، يعني حتى إذا كان شخص كبير بالعمر تعرض إلى المشاكل الإلكترونية. بدنا نحكي احنا هسه مشاكل الكترونيه اللي تحدث عن طريق الالكترونات، يعني الالكترونيه، مو مشكله بالمدرسه او مشاكل الالكترونيه عن طريق التليفون او عن طريق غير الاشياء. اذا حثت، فهو من النصائح مالته اكيد مستر واتكنز يقول انه اولا نسد هذا الخط اللي هو خط الاتصال الموجود بيناتهم. هاي أهم خطوة، إنه نسد هذا الخط. مثلا إذا كان عندهم فيسبوك، إذا كان عندهم إنستغرام، إذا كان عندهم بقية الأبس الموجودة، هذه أهم شيء إنه هم يسدوا هذا الخط الاتصال. إذا كان عندهم إيميلات، إذا كان عندهم فيسبوك مثلا. هاي الأشياء نريدهم يسدوها رأسا ويتصلون بهاي الشركات، لأنه أكيد يكون عندهم قوانين خاصة من يسدوها، يخبرون هاي الشركة ويقولوا لهم إنه هالشخص هذا يسوي هالشكل بينا. فضروري إحنا نساعد ولدنا يتفهمون أو الكبار بالعمر إنه هذا الشخص هو يسبب لنا مشاكل ويهددنا عن طريق الأجهزة الإلكترونية. التهديد هو عدة أنواع مثل ما قلت، إنه ممكن ياخذون صورة يغيروها، ممكن ياخذون كلام يغيروا، ممكن ياخذون فتشي الشخص مسويه ويغيروه ويحطوه للعالم كله حتى يشوفوه. فهذه هي جريمة بحق الشخص. فالشخص اللي يصير عنده هيك مشكلة أريدهم يتبعون هاي الخطوات. فمثل ما قلنا، فمن أحد الخطوات من اللازم يقدمون تقرير للمدرسة. المدرسة لازم تعرف، سواء كانت، أنا سألت إذا كانت مثلا متوسطة، ابتدائية، ثانوية، هبات الكلية، حتى الكلية يكون عندهم قوانين خاصة مالتهم. أكيد إحنا نستفاد من القوانين مالتهم. فإذا يخبرون المدرسة راح تساعد إنه خاصة إذا كان المجرم حواليهم، فشقد ما بينا نحاول انه نبعده ونخبر الشرطه، نخبر المدرسه حتى نحاول نبعدهم عن الشخص الخطيه اللي صار هو الفيكتيم او اكيد اللي دا ينتهم بهالاشياء. فشو ما قلنا بعض الاشياء انه قبل ما نسد هاي الخط الاتصال اريد يسوي من عندها نسخ. إيش قد ما بينا نسوي نسخ حتى من نقدم تقرير للشرطة، الشرطة راح نراوي لهم إنه هذا الشخص هالشكل سوى وهو مو بالآن المعني، بينما الشخص المجرم هو دا يسوي هالأشياء. فإيش قد ما بيكم سووا استنساخ من عندها حتى تطوها بإيد الشرطة حتى تراوي لهم إنه قال الأشياء دا تصير عندكم وتردوا لها حل. فأكيد يعني اتصال بالشرطة هو كلش ضروري حتى يحلون المشكلة. Well, thank you so much. I mean, that's really a good steps that at least the parents and the school, they can do to take. And then, of course, when it comes to your office. Now, there is a lot of, new stuff that's happening, a new word that I couldn't even find translation in Arabic for it. Right. So أكو بعض الكلمات راح نستخدمها اللي هي حتى أصلا ما عندها كلمات بالعربي، بس راح أشرحها. مثلا الرسائل الجنسية أو رسائل الفاضحة اللي نسميها رسائل فاضحة بالعربي بالأول أيام زمان. أيام زمان من كانت كتابة بسيطة كانوا يقولون هاي رسالة فاضحة ما يصير نكتبها، بينما هسه هواية أشياء أكو تصير أكيد إحنا نريد مساعدتهم بها. So word like sexting. Can you please explain what is that? And in Arabic we used to use just a regular letter, and if somebody wrote something improper, it says no, this letter should be shredded, should be cut, should be thrown away, burned out. Now how much we can control words like sexting, what does that mean?
Right. And it's difficult to take on an issue when you don't even have a word for the issue.
In different, yes.
Right.
Yes.
And so the word is just putting together two words, obviously, yes. Sex and texting. And so the general idea is any sort of sexually explicit communications that are going on, whether they're through words or through photographs that are going on, typically through texting over cell phones, but could be anywhere online through any sort of communication platform that people might use. And it's something that's not only going on between adults, but we're finding is going on occasionally between teenagers or between teenagers and adults. And in both of those situations can become serious.
So شو ما قلنا يعني اكو كلمات هسه تظهر حديثا حتى اصلا ما نقدر نشوف لها كلمه بلغات اخرى. مثلا texting sexting I'm sorry، فهي عباره عن كلمتين يخطوها يسووها كلمه واحده. فهي عباره عن سكس وتكستينج او الجنس والرسائل. هاي كلمات جديده بس بالحقيقه تصير. فدا يشرح دا يقول إنه ممكن تكون هالرسائل الفاضحة الجنسية اللي هي غير مقبولة خاصة بالمجتمع مالتنا. نلاحظ إنه هي موجودة هسه بين الشخص الكامل العمر وبين الشخص يا أما اثنين يكونون كامل العمر أو يكون child يعني طفل صغير، خلينا نقول اللي هو ناقص العمر أقل من 18 سنة، وبين الشخص البالغ. يعني شوفه بين الشاب الصغير بالعمر وبين الشخص البالغ. هاي التكستات من تروح او الرسائل شو اسمه بالتكستنج، يعني بالرسائل الإملائية، من نشوفها من تروح وبها هالصور الفاضحة، ممكن الشخص المقابله يستخدمها ضد الشخص اللي أول يشوف المقابل. خاصة إذا كان طفلة أو بنية أو طفل يدزها الرسائل هاي اللي هي ما مقبولة للشخص بالغ العمر، أو الشخص البالغ العمر يطلبها من الشخص الأقل من العمر. هذه أشياء ما مطلوبة، أريدكم تتحذرون منها وأريدكم تكونون كلش حذرين منها. Is it illegal?
Well, it depends.
Okay.
As between consenting adults, no.
No, right.
You know, if you want to send a message to your partner talking about something you want to do
Of
tonight,
course. No.
you can do that.
Sure.
The issue becomes when we're talking about adults communicating with children for sexual purposes,
right.
or when we're dealing with the photo issue.
Yes.
And so
changing the photo.
So we've had a lot of issues with people who are underage taking explicit photos of themselves to send, typically to a boyfriend or girlfriend,
right.
something along those lines.
Right.
But that's where we obviously run into a lot of issues.
Yes.
In terms of whether or not it's illegal, some of the crimes that do get implicated in that situation are mainly child pornography crimes, right? As soon as you wouldn't necessarily think of it that way, but as soon as this person who's underage takes a explicit photograph of themselves, they've technically manufactured child pornography.
Yes.
When they send it to somebody else, it may be considered distribution.
Sure.
For the other person who receives it, it may be considered possession.
Right.
And those are all technically felony offenses.
Oh,
and
they're
so
up to felony.
Right, so the law may have
right.
something to say in these sort of situations.
Sure.
And then likewise, in the context of adults communicating with children, there are a number of statutes, mainly felonies, having to do with adults communicating with people who are underage for a sexual purpose or for the purpose of meeting up, things along those lines.
Exactly. So السؤال كان هل هو هذا قانونيا، يعني اللي قلنا عليه السكستينج، اللي هو شو ما قلنا الرسائل مع رسائل فاضحة أو جنسية. فسألنا هل هذا هو قانونية، فقال تعتمد. إذا كانت بين شخصين هم بيناتهم وأشياء عادية تصير بيناتهم، هذه طبعا تعتبر قانونية. بس إذا واحد من الأشخاص أخذ الصور أو الكلام وحور به وغير شكله وغير من الطريقة اللي تبين، فهذا تعتبر جريمة كبرى يعاقب عليها بالقانون، وخاصة هسه أكو قانون يعاقب بها. أما إذا كان طفل، يعني شاب صغير أو شابة صغيرة أقل من العمر 18، ودا تسوي تكست مسج أو صور الصور إلى شخص اللي هو فوق ال 18 سنة، 100% هذا هو غير قانوني ويحاكم عليه بالقانون. يعني خلينا نكون كلش حذرين ونعلم الشباب مالتنا، إذا ياخذ أي صورة من طفلة عمرها يعني من بنية أقل من 18 سنة تعتبر غير قانونية، وممكن يروح بيها كجريمة عظمى أو فلني. إيش قد ما بيكم علموا أولادكم هالشيء هذا، لأن عندنا هواية شباب يجون صديقاتهم أقل من العمر، أريدهم يكونون كلش حاضرين، خاصة إذا صارت صورة بيها أو كلمات يعني غير لائقة وبيها كلمات فاضحة جنسية. فإيش قد ما بينا نكون حذرين. أما إذا واحد من الأشخاص أخذ الصورة وطبعها ووزعها وأكيد بقاها يمه، أو هي يعني بنية مثلا أو ولد، يعني ما يفرق، يعني دا أحكي على اثنيناتهم، 100% هذا يعاقب عليها القانون كفلني أو كجريمة عظمى. أريدكم تتحاشوها، أريدكم أكو وايا أشخاص يمكن ما يعرفون بالقانون، فشقد ما بينا نقدر إنه إحنا نفكر بها كقانون حتى لن نوقع بهيجي مشاكل. So a lot of people now, a lot of family that now they're looking at these, what we're talking about, and they're really, they're thinking, is that real? Is it a crime? Is it, some of them, they have online gaming. Is the online gaming a crime? What do you think about that? Mm-hmm.
Well, in terms of online gaming, some folks figure, well, that seems more harmless. People are just playing games with one another. But we've actually found that there's a certain amount of cyberbullying and other issues that come up in those contexts as well. So if you've often heard some of the online gamers playing games like Call of Duty, you'll often hear them on their headphones, either coordinating with teammates, but just as often kind of trash-talking opponents, and you may hear some of that get a bit over the top.
Right.
Sometimes it goes to a bit of an extreme. There's a term out there now called swatting. Based on the words swatting.
Swatting? Okay.
Based on the word SWAT from SWAT team.
Okay, SWAT, okay.
There was a famous example from a few years ago where rival gamers, one in Los Angeles, one in Kansas.
Okay.
The one in Los Angeles got mad and ended up calling the police in Kansas, pretending to be the other person, claiming that he had killed his father, that he was holding his mother hostage, and caused the SWAT team to go out to the address.
It
turned out it was the wrong address. It wasn't even the other person's.
Wow.
It was just a third person who had nothing to do with it. That person didn't understand what was going on, didn't end up following police commands, and got shot. And so this became a trend of people doing these things to each other online. So you can see it can get a bit out of control. I read a story from a woman on Twitter recently saying that she heard her 14-year-old asking the people he was playing against what their addresses were, as if he was going to go over and fight them, which she didn't find appropriate, but then heard him giving out their home address to these random strangers on the internet, inviting them to come over to fight. Things along those lines that can get a bit over the top. And then even beyond that, like I said, some of the sexting issue that we talked about can overlap, because a lot of these games have chat functions.
Yes.
I had a case within the last couple of years where a girl, she was only 10 years old, had left open the chat in one of her games on a game called Roblox. And so her guardians had actually seen a conversation she was having with a 21-year-old who lived in the same complex, discussing things they didn't even know she knew about at 10 years old.
Wow.
And they were lucky that they caught that and were able to intervene in that situation.
Right away.
And so people see, my kids just playing games online, not realizing that there's so much more to it that they may not be aware of.
Oh, wow. And there's a lot of games that they're really very, very dangerous. We heard about the Blue Whale and other games that they're really dangerous and end up into a disaster and tragedy, And also, those are all very dangerous things. So, سألت قلت له إنه أكو بعض الأشياء مثلا الأطفال أو الشباب اللعب عن طريق الانترنت، عن طريق الانترنت. هاي الألعاب مو كلها تكون هي ألعاب بريئة. أريدكم تلاحظون أطفالكم، أريدكم تنتبهون عليهم شنو هي الألعاب اللي يلعبوها ويمنوا يحشون، لأن دائما كل الألعاب بيها هذا التشاتنج نسميها، أو التكلم مع أشخاص آخرين، ممكن يكونون من مكانهم، من منطقتهم، ممكن تكون حتى من ولايات أخرى، ممكن تكون من حكام من بلدان أخرى. فهالشاتنج أو المناقشة نسميها. بالمناقشة أريدكم تنتبهون هم ويمنوا يحجون. مثلا جاب هالمثل هذا، أكو عائلة من لوس أنجلوس أو واحد شاب من لوس أنجلوس سوى نفسه إنه هو من كانساس سيتي. It was Kansas, from Kansas, okay. So قال إنه أكو بهذا البيت بهذا العنوان، خابر الشرطة قال إنه أكو شخص إنه هو مجرم بذاك البيت وبذاك العنوان، روحوا عليه. هو من لوس أنجلوس. تخيلوا الشرطة طبعا ذيك المدينة راحوا على العنوان كان غلط، ومع الأسف ضربوا، والضرب صار على شاب، والشاب خسر حياته، وهو ما له علاقة نهائيا بالموضوع. فهواية نشوف أكو مشاكل تصير هالشكل. حتى كلمة سواتنج اللي هو معناتها سوات، من تجي الشرطة من تقبض، إلقاء القبض على شخص معين. فحتى هذا بدأوا يستخدموه كلعب. فريد ننتبه إنه هاي مو لعبة، هي مو ونسة، هي مو لعبة. بس شلون إذا يسووها؟ أكو واية مجرمين، أكو واية ناس مو زينة، أكو شباب حتى يتخيلوها إن هي ونسة، بس هي مو ونسة. فحتى قال إنه واحدة امرأة عن طريق التويتر لاحظ أنه بنتها صغيرة عمرها 10 سنوات دا تتحادث ويا شخص عمره فوق ال 21 23 سنة، دا يحكي أشياء المفروض ال10 سنوات ما تفهمها وما يصير تسمعها. فهم زين الأم والأب انتبهوا وش دا يصير، ورأسا اتصلوا بالشرطة وحاولوا أنه يجون ويلقون القبض على الشخص اللي هو حتى بنفس المجمع مالتهم كان، بس هي كانت تحكي أصلا ما تعرف أنه هذا الشخص كان موجود بالمجمع مالتهم. فايش قد ما بيكم أريدكم تكونون حذرين، أريدكم تنتبهون عليهم، لأن أكو أشياء هواية تصير ممكن تأذي أولادكم وأنتم ما تحسون بيها وما تعرفون أنه تصير. هاي صعوبتها. There's a lot of them, a lot of people who they are really, their intent is not good. They're criminal. And they're running all these, crimes behind the internet, and and it's unfortunate. But so, how do the parents? I mean, especially you're talking about refugees' parents. How do you want them to monitor that if they don't even read and write? This family you told me about, probably she read and write English, I'm sure, and that's why she noticed what her daughter was, reading. Right. But what happened to these refugees? How can they monitor their children? Or how can they put the monitoring in the phone or the TV in order for them to stop their kids from, going and talking to these people, these bad people? How can they do that?
Right, and it's especially tough when you're talking about that community.
Yes.
Generally speaking, we encourage parents to educate themselves, generally speaking, on the types of technology that their kids are using. Right. If your kids are using Snapchat, learn to use Snapchat. Right.
Exactly.
Most of the different kinds of technologies you have, whether it be cell phones, whether it be their computer at home, whether it be the various apps that they have parental controls that are built into them.
So that's the,
but you need to take the time to learn to use them, to take the time to learn to use the various apps that are involved.
Right.
I know that's difficult for some people.
Yes.
My mother is the type who has trouble with the TV remote or changing the clocks when the time changes.
Yes.
And there are people who are like that. And so the idea of trying to go and learn Snapchat seems like a lot, but it's important, to know what your children are doing, to be able to connect with them and what they're up to in life, because that's where they're living a lot of their lives now.
Correct. So parental control, is there a certain, recommendation, what kind, or they should contact their, provider to see if there is a parental control? How can we help them, to find it?
And it's going to depend on the different...
Is it a free one? Is it not a free one? What do you recommendation?
It'll depend on the kind of app or the kind of device that you're dealing with, and you have to kind of learn about them one by one. The other thing we can recommend, of course, is just being able to put reasonable limits on your children's tech use to begin with.
Of course.
You're talking about kids who are glued 24/7 to things, and that's not necessarily healthy either.
Right.
And so part of parenting in general is being able to put limits on these things so that they aren't necessarily living their entire lives there.
So I've had a lot of parents, because we're in behavioral health, we do a lot of treatment in behavioral health, and I have a lot of parents who said, I cannot limit my kids, because if I take the phone from them, or if I take the phone and put them in the kitchen and send them to their room, they go to school and they said, my parents, they, abused me, or things like that. So they turned it, they switched it and turned it. So they're afraid, especially with the refugees community. They don't want to lose their kids, and they don't want to be called by the police. So how can we support these parents when they have so much fear originally from the police department? And here's the kids, they're learning really quick and really fast, and they have so much fear to limit their children, So what are your thoughts on that?
That's a tough situation.
It's very tough, right? Yes.
I haven't run into that specific one, but it's the same sort of phenomenon that we've dealt with over the years, whether it be with your technology now, or whether it was trying to pull a video game controller out of your kids' hands, years earlier, or what have you, and trying to get them redirected. And a lot of that's just being more involved in your kids' lives, just in general, right? And especially like you were saying, there can be that disconnect with people who are coming over, depending on their community.
Correct.
And so at some point, it's incumbent on people to try to just make sure that they're being more involved, that they're communicating more with their children, so that even if they are in a situation where the kids are just addicted, and most of us are, are addicted
Right.
to being on that phone,
Right.
at least they're at a point where they've got an open line of communication with their children,
Yes.
that they're talking with them,
Yes.
that they're at a point where they can trust that when they are online doing things,
Right.
that they can trust and have, confidence that their children are doing the right things. And at
Exactly.
least being able to communicate with them about those concepts, even if they can't be on there to monitor everything that they're doing.
And even if they, if their children threaten them, they can tell them, I'm limiting you no matter what, because I don't know what you're doing, I can limit you. I mean, is that reasonable to say, for the parents?
At some point, you need to take the role of being a parent.
Being a parent, yes,
Right.
exactly. So let me explain that, because a lot of people are waiting for that.
Sure.
We got too many people ask us this question, and when we tell them you have to act like you're a parent, you got to be a parent, and they say we have so much fear for that. So but anyway, so سألنا سؤال اللي هو شنو اللي الوالدين ممكن يسووه حتى يقللون من الأطفال استخدام الأجهزة الإلكترونية اللي هي لازقين بيها 24 ساعة ما يذبوها من إيديهم. أكيد يقول عنده هواية نصائح حلوة. ده يقول أولا خلي الأهالي يتعلمون، مثلا إذا أولادكم عندهم سناب شات، تعلموا السناب شات شلون يشتغل وشنو هو، وخلي تكونون انتم تتابعون اولادكم بالسناب شات، بيكوز بهالطريقه هاي راح تعرفون هم ايش دا يحطون بالسناب شات. فهاي واحدة من الأشياء. طبعا أنا أعرف أنه هواية من عندكم راح يقولون إحنا هاي صعوبة علينا نسويها، بس ترى التعلم يعني مو صعب، إذا تتعودون عليه مرة مرتين ثلاثة أربعة راح تشوفون نفسكم تعلمتوا عليه كل سريع. هاي واحدة. لازم يكون أكو سيطرة على الأجهزة الإلكترونية أولادكم يستخدموها. لازم ماكو حل، أنت كأب وأم أنتوا السيطرة يمكم إياهم. فأنا سألته قلت له إحنا يمنا يجونا هواية ويقولون لنا إنه يابا ترى أولادنا 24 ساعة بالتليفون، بس إحنا إذا لزمنا التليفون من عندهم أو إذا منعناهم يتفرجون أو منعناهم يروحون الأونلاين ممكن يروحون يشتكون علينا بالشرطة. فيقول هذا شغل الأم والأب. الأم والأب وين ما يروح الطالب خلي يقول وخلي يحكي، لأنه الأم والأب لهم الأحقية. إيش قد ما هو أقل من العمر وحتى ليكون أكبر من العمر لك أحقية إنه أنت تحدد إيش قد وقت التلفزيون، إيش قد وقت التليفون، إيش قد وقت هاي الأجهزة اللعب أو الإلكترونية. شلون تحددها؟ هو عن طريق مثلا تتصلون بالشركات مالتكم الارتباط الالكتروني وتسالوهم احنا شلون نقدر نحدد ونسيطر على الفتره اللي الاولاد يقدرون يستخدمون التليفون، او تحدد الاشياء اللي ممكن يروح عليها. ما اعرف اذا اكو دعايات تشوفوها خاصه هسه there's a beautiful commercial by Cox. And Cox, they have not, I'm not sending a commercial to Cox, but there is that control when the parents leave and the kids, they wanted to go out and they said, oh, I didn't expect them to be that smart. They don't look my parents that smart. That was the best commercial because Cox, they put that limit. The parents, they can click on that app and then they can limit the kids. So I'm telling them about it. So الليمت أو بالحقيقة مثل ما قلنا إنه الأهالي هم السيطرة يمهم. لازم تحطون الوقت مالتكم، لازم تعرفون إيش قد يقدرون يوقفون الخط الاتصال. فإيش قد ما بيكم همنا من يكونون كبار بالعمر اللي ما تقدرون مثلا تعيطون عليهم، هي ما تجي بالعياطات بس تجي بالكوميونيكيشن او الاتصال. ايش قد ما بينا انه احنا نحكي ويانا اولادنا نكون اصدقائهم، ايش قد ما بينا نكون اصدقائهم، حتى هم يجون يقولونا ويراوونا اوه هذا هالشي مام، هذا هي شكل يعني داد يعني بابا. ايش قد ما بينا نكون على الصداقه وياهم حتى نقدر نخليهم ينفتحون ويانا حتى يحكون ويانا. على كل اكو هواية اشياء كلش ضروريه اريد اروح عليها حتى نعرف شلون نقدر نستفاد من عندها خاصه هو هنا. So what is the signs of children who go through predators or they become a victim or they were targeted by predators?
What age?
What is the sign? How the parents would know? How the signs of those kind of acts? What they're looking for the kids? What kind of signs they're looking to find out?
Right, and we do have a lot of predators who are online,
yes.
like you were mentioning. There
yes.
are a lot of people out there.
Yes.
It used to be difficult before the internet
Yes,
to be able to go and approach children live. That's a risky kind of behavior. So the internet's been an amazing tool for predators as well. Now they can reach out to hundreds of children and kind of wait for a bite, like fishing, you know, if you will. And so we'll often have folks who are reaching out to kids and trying to, well, do any number of things, right?
Yes.
We've had examples of people who are looking to try to meet up with kids who are underage. Some of them are just trying to get, say, sexually explicit photographs from them, things along those lines. But we will see certain signs, oftentimes with, say, young girls who are being approached and might have, you know, kind of fallen into what they think is a romantic relationship with somebody online. So if you notice your children, for example, receiving gifts that they otherwise would not be having, right?
Yes.
If your daughter was in a relationship with a boy her own age at school, she likely wouldn't be receiving nice clothes or jewelry, things along those lines that might be used to sort of ply them and so on.
Yes.
One of the tactics is often to try to isolate the victim from her family. Let's say it's a girl, maybe, you know, talking to this person and complaining about issues that they have in their lives or with their parents or what have you, and the other person will feed into that to try to encourage them to be more withdrawn, to go more towards this predator and less towards their family. So you may see people who are kind of rejecting their family, acting more withdrawn, these sorts of things. Realize that oftentimes they're only communicating with this person on the internet, so they may want to have more screen time. They may get antsy or sort of nervous, like a person who hasn't had a cigarette in a while, when they need to get back and communicate with this person where they think they're living, you know, a better life than apart from it. And then it's always, you know, good to pay attention if somebody's being secretive, if you're walking into a room and they're minimizing their screens, if they're hiding things from you. All these things sort of together may give you a tip-off, but generally speaking, it's hard to tell. And it's, again, another one of those situations where it's just important to make sure that you're always communicating with your children, that you're being involved in their lives so that you know what's kind of going on with them.
So بعض الأشياء احنا نقول، أنا سألته شنو هي العلامات اللي ممكن نشوفها على الأطفال إن هم يكونون واقعين بمشكلة كبيرة من قبل طبعا الشخص اللي هو يصير يعني شخص مو زين، مفترس، يحاول إنه يستخدمهم. شنو هي شلون الأهالي أو الوالدين ممكن يعرفون هاي الأوصاف؟ ممكن يعني شلون يعرفون إنه أولادهم واقعين بمشكلة؟ يقول أكو عدة أشياء ممكن نشوفها. مثلا إذا تجي بنت للمدرسة للبيت وشايلة فد مثلا هدية كبيرة، مثلا تكون هدية ذهب كبيرة أو ألماس أو جنطة من هاي الغالية أو هدية ملابس من هاي الغالية أو حتى أجهزة إلكترونية من هاي الغالية، بنشوفون هاي الأشياء وتقول إنه فلان جاب لي إياها أو فلتان جاب لي إياها. هاي كلها علامة إنه الشخص هذا يشتري حتى يوقعهم بمشاكل، لأنه ماكو واحد يكون بعمرها أو وحدة تكون بعمر واحد يكون بنفس العمر يشتري هيجي هدايا غالية. ماكو هالشكل شيء. هاي أول فقرة ممكن إنه إحنا ننتبه لها. الفقرة الثانية اللي هي كلش مهمة أريدكم تنتبهون عليها، أولادكم من ينعزلون من العائلة، ومن ينعزلون مو بس من العائلة، من بقية الأصدقاء، والانعزال يكون بقية الأقارب، الانعزال يكون بقية الأفراد العائلة أو من الأم والأب. من شفتوا هذا الانعزال صار، لازم تبحثون عن السبب، لازم تدورون على المشكلة ليش هالانعزال صار. معناته هم الشخص الموزن اللي يعلمها إنه تنعزل عن العائلة لأن يرفض إنه هي تبدي تحكي وياهم أو يبدي يحكي وياهم. فلازم تنتبهون على أولادكم وتشوفوا ليش ينعزلون. فهاي شيء كلش ضرورية. الشيء الآخر إنه أنت من مثلا يا أهالي إنه من ندخل للغرفة على أولادنا من نشوفه رأسا هو واقف بالتليفون ورأسا سد الخط، من نشوف إنه نسد الخط أو مثلا يغير التلفزيون أو يغير الكمبيوتر، من نشوفهم غيروا هالشيء هذا، انتبهوا، معناته أكو شيء يردون يضموه عليكم. من يريدون يضمون عليكم شيء فلازم تبدون شوي شوية تاخذون الثقة مالتهم وتعيدون الثقة مالتهم حتى يبدون يلتجئون لكم ويقولوا لكم شنو اللي صارت وشنو هي المشكلة اللي تصير بحياتهم. فريدكم تنتبهون لأن اكو هواية ناس مو زينة برا دا يحاولون انه يأذون اولادكم، فشقد ما بيكم بليز اريدكم تنتبهون عليها. فنقول انه خاصة الاطفال الصغار الاقل من العمر من يبدون يضمون الاشياء، مثلا يستلمون اشياء من غيرهم من برا ويبدون يجون يضموها، فاذا شفتوا هاي الاشياء بالغرفة مالتهم او بالكانتور مالتهم او بغير اشياء او بجنطتهم، اذا تشوفون هاي الاشياء انتبهوا عليها واسألوا السؤال. بس اهم شيء لازم تعيدون ثقتهم وياكم، لازم تخلوكم انتم تكونون بهدوء. العصبية ما راح تسوي شيء، الزعل ما راح يسوي شيء. ايش قد ما بينا نهدي ونبدي نعلم اولادنا ونبدي نسحبهم لجهتنا، نبدي نحكي وياهم ونشوف ليش هم متعرضين لهالمشاكل الكبيرة. هاي كلش ضرورية لأنه هواية اكو ناس مو زينة ويردون يأذون اولادكم. So people, if the parents felt that their children falling into those type of crime or criminal acts by other people, what should they do? Who they should go to, and who they should, should they contact the police department or where else they can go, or do they have a contact to your office immediately? What can they do?
Right, so you can certainly contact your local police department, or if you're in the sheriff's department jurisdictions, reach out to them as well. And then there's a number that I think has been scrolling across your screen while we've been talking today. That goes to, it's actually an organization called the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. We call it NCMEC. They're a nonprofit organization that helps track, as their name suggests, missing or exploited children, children who have been abducted. And they actually assist a lot of our investigations into child pornography and online predators. And so that's another organization that you can reach out to if you have information that something along these lines is going on.
طبعا اكيد قلنا انه اذا صارت عندكم هالشكل مشكله ودا تحسون انه اولادكم دا يكونوا بخطر، المن نخابر، ممكن نخابر الشرطه، ممكن نخابر المكتب مالته، ممكن نخابر عده اماكن. اكيد لازم تتصلون بالجهات الرسمية حتى يلزمون الشخص اللي يسوي هالشكل، وحتى لأنه شو ما قلنا هي جريمة يعاقب عليها القانون. مثل ما قلنا بالأول كانت سهلة إنه يلزمون المجرم، هسه أكثر صعوبة إذا إحنا خاصة ما ننطي خبر عليهم، ما راح يلزموهم، وهذول راح يكملون، راح يبقون هم إذا هم مجرمين بدمهم راح يبقون مجرمين، لازم يعاقب عليهم القانون. فأكيد أكو رقم راح تشوفوه دا ينعرض على السكرين، واكو عده جمعيات اخرى مثلا جمعيه اللي حمايه او الفقدان الاطفال، اللي اكيد اكو جماعات معينه دا يبقون اطفال حتى يستخدموهم للاشياء فضيحه او جنسيه، فاللي مو زينه. فاريدكم انه تتصلون بهيك الشركات لان هم يقدرون يعالجون الموضوع. وهمنا اكو التشايلد بورنوغرافي او الأطفال المتعرضين لحالات فضائح. فإيش قد ما بينا نحاول نتصل بهاي الجمعيات حتى نقدر نوقف الشيء الخطر اللي دا يلحق بولادنا. إيش قد ما بينا نحاول نتصل بأسرع وقت، ما نأخرها، ما نقول على ما تصير مرة الأخ وعلى ما تصير مرة الأخ. إيش قد ما بينا نوقعها نوقفها حتى نقدر نخلص من المجرمين اللي دا يوقعون بأولادنا بمشاكل كبيرة. طبعا أكيد إذا عندكم أي سؤال، خاصة هسه يعني وصلنا إلى نهاية الحلقة، أريدكم إذا عندكم أي أسئلة ممكن تتصلون بنا حتى تشوفون جوابها من مستر واتكنز، لأنه عنده خبرة كبيرة وممكن تستفادون من الخبرة مالته. So now we're getting into the end. What else you can give? What kind of advice you can give people, that especially the refugees community? What can you tell them to help them out on the situation that they're in now?
Like I said, just in general for all of these topics, I think the key thing is just to make sure that you're getting more engaged in your kids' lives, right?
Yes.
We're at such a point now, I think, where, again, the kids are always a little ahead of their parents in technology, but now that gap is getting even bigger than before. And so it's important to, like I said, make sure that you are doing the best you can to understand what they're doing, what they're getting involved in, and staying in communication with them, with their lives, and making sure that, like I said, even if they are out there getting engaged in these things that you don't necessarily understand, that you've developed enough of a relationship with your kids that
so they come and tell them.
Yeah, that they will come to tell you if there's anything that's going on with them, that's going on with somebody else, and that you can trust that when they're out there doing things, that they're doing the right things.
So if they find that something else happened to their friends, are they also eligible to call and put the word out that this is happening to their daughter's friend or their son's friend? I mean, are they okay with that? Can they report it, in another word?
Right, certainly, and one of the first steps you might be doing in those situations would be to contact the school if they're going to the same school, since they may be able to sort of take over that point and decide whether or not it needs to go up to the police.
Sure.
But certainly that might be a good first step.
Okay. So طبعا احنا نوصل الى نهاية الحلقة مالتنا، فسألت شنو هي احسن نصيحة ممكن تعطيها للاهالي حتى يتعلمون شلون ينقذون اولادهم من يقعون مشاكل او تتحاشون، لان ايش قد ما بينا احنا نحاول نتحاشى المشكلة قبل ما توقع بها. فقال النصيحة الوحيدة اللي عنده انه دائما نبقى على اتصال دائم ويا اولادنا، ونتعلم الاشياء اللي هم يروحون بيها. مثلا اذا هم يستخدمون الالكترونيات، انتم هم حاولوا تتعلموها حتى تعرفون ايش يصير. واهم شيء انه تكونون على حلقة وصل مع اولادكم، علاقة حلوة، وتربطون اولادكم بهالعلاقة الثقة بيناتكم، حتى اذا صار شيء هم يجون يقولوا لكم. اذا صار فد شيء باصدقائهم، يعني اذا شفتوا انه مثلا اولادكم عندهم اصدقاء دا يوقعون مشاكل، تقدرون تروحون تخبرون المدرسة اول شيء، حتى المدرسة هي تقوم بواجبها حتى يشوفون ايش دا يصير. فايش قد ما بينا نحاول انهم نبني هاي الثقة الحلوة بيننا وبين اولادنا حتى نقدر نتحاشى اي مشكلة تصير بالمستقبل. Well, those are very good advice, and thank you so much for your time. I know it's a night time, and you're coming here to do all this to educate the community, and we really thank you for that.
Thank you guys for giving me
biggest appreciation from my side, from our office, to you especially, and to your department. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So نشكركم شكرا جزيلا. أريد أقول لكم إنه الحلقة القادمة راح تكون عن تجارة البشر. أنا أعرف راح تقولون شنو تجارة البشر، ماكو شيء، أو human trafficking، راح تقولون ماكو شيء. أكيد أكو. فبالحلقة القادمة راح نتكلم عليها، وراح نشوف إنه شلون تصير وشلون راح تتكون. بهالمناسبة أريد أشكركم شكر جزيل على هالمقابلة الحلوة، وأتمنى أن ألتقي بكم في حلقة قادمة، وتصبحون على خير.